The next step is to categorize the code to develop themes, right? And how do you do that? So let me show you the way that you can categorize the code to develop themes. One option is to do it outside, and I have a videos on how to do it, sorting your code outside, right? But you can do it here, so you don't have to go outside and do it, right? So doing outside means that you have to first export all the codes, right? You go to report and export Smart Publisher. It will export all the codes and also the related quotations, and then you can categorize them if you want to. You can even export the code book, right? And you'll be able to get all this information, right? Since you can do it here, you don't have to export that yet. So I'm going to show you how to categorize your code to develop themes. So let's go back to the PowerPoint and show you what we're going to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to use creative coding function to help us to categorize the code, and then we'll be able to develop themes. So let's go back to the process. So what you have to do is that you know that you have to review the codes, right? Individual codes, and see the characteristics and see how they are related. And based on that, you can group them and then name the groups. And that name for the group will be the themes. I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. And I like the way that you can visually do that in MAXQDA. So what you're going to do is that we go to code, right? And then click on creative coding. And then you see that I have all my codes here. And what are we going to do? We're going to start with research question 1, right? And then trying to categorize the code to develop themes. So what you're going to do is I've selected all of the information related to research question 1, including the research question 1 container, and drag and drop that information in this space. Yes. When you drag and drop, this is what you're going to see. And what you're going to do right now is to think about grouping them based on similarities, right? So it looks a lot to look at, but let's take things step by step. Having numerous work-related tasks is related to having long hours. Having long hours is here, right? And then having long hours, so let's try to, having long hours is also related. You are trying to group them, right? Having long hours and also this group can be related to having trouble, let's see, having trouble carrying out duties, right? And then it's also related to taking care of multiple patients taking care of multiple patients. So all these are quite related, right? So that's what you have to do. You just have to group them based on how they are related. And then being young in the profession is also related to feeling inadequate. So they can be in one place. And I've already grouped them here in my second screen, so that's what I'm looking at. But the strategy here is to look at each of them and see whether they are related or not. The strategy here is to evaluate each of them and see whether they're related. And you can always change your mind, right? It's not a final thing. You can always change. You can decide, oh, I don't think this one belongs to this group, right? And then we go here and we unrealistic expectation from patient is quite related to working harder than counterpart. And this one may also be related to that one, right? So you exploit it also based on the data that you have, right? Now you have to think about for this group, what label do you want to give to it? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 clusters. So this label, the label that we can give to this one is having high workload, right? So when you decide on the label, you see here, new code, and then in parentheses, you can start here theme, and then the label that I'll give to this one is having high workload because you are talking about having a lot of workload. You can give it a color that you want. And you can also define it. What do you mean by that? You can say this theme represent participant expression or having a lot of work to do, right? And within a short period of time, and that can also lead to burnout, right? You can describe what you want to do and you click on OK. Now you see this one here, right? Now what we have to do is to connect these four to this theme. How do you connect? You click on link. You see the link here, right? And then you put the cursor here and then drag it to this one. When you do that, it will destroy the link that it have with the research question. You click on the link and connect to this one. You see that I'm linking them, right? So you click on it and drag it and link it to this. Now I have the theme, right? And now I can even link this one to this one, right? Because this one is research question. And under the research question, we have this one, right? When you finish doing the link, you can go click on that icon again so that you can move it. So now you can see that I have these four linking to this theme, right? So I'm going to create another theme that is for this one, being young in the profession. The name of the theme that I gave it is being new in the profession. So I go to new code and I type theme in parentheses. And you know the arrangement, you can even bring the theme here, right? You can do it here if you want to. You can do it any way that you want. The most important is that you are indicating that this one is a theme, right? Right. And then I will change the color to maybe green. And then you can give a description if you want and click on OK. So I have the green one here. And then the same way you click on this link and then drag and link it here, drag and link it here, right? Now you cannot connect the research question to the theme, right? So this theme is under the research question and these codes are under the theme, right? So you're gonna do the same thing for this one. This one, I did it having less time with family. So what I'm gonna do is I click on this one, new code, I type the theme and then indicate and then click on this one and click on OK. And then I can connect it to the code here. I drag and connect to the code. When you do that, it disconnects to the main one. Now I can connect this one, the research question to it. Right. And then I can click on this one again so that I can move it. Right. And move it around. So you're gonna do the same thing for the two left. Putting in much effort will be the theme that I want to use. I click on the new code. I click on theme and then bring that information here and then click on OK and click on the link and drag it to connect to this one. Click on the link again, drag it to connect to that one and click on the link and bring this one here. And you have to click on the link so that you can connect the research question to the theme. So now I click on the link again to move stuff. So you see that I have my first theme, second theme, third theme, and a fourth theme, right? Now, what do you have to do? You can, when you close, you have to do the same thing for research question too, but the space is too much going on here. So you can close it and then come back and do for the research question too, right? So when you close this one, the prompt is that, do you want the structure to reflect what you have here, right? So now when you click on yes, see what will happen. You see the system has arranged, I see the theme here and the codes under, the theme and the codes under them, the theme and the codes under them. You see, and then when you close this one, you have all the themes here. So you see how easy to categorize your code to develop themes. I'm going to do the same thing for the second one, right? So if you want to do the same thing for the second one, you go back again to creative coding, and then you can do the same thing that we did, right? So if you want to do the same, you select all of them and drag them here And the same way that I did, right? I go to the arrow. First, maybe I have to click and then, oh, first I have to group them, right? And then after grouping them, when you are satisfied, you create a container for the themes and do the same thing. You close it and say yes. And then you get all the information here, right? So let's see how the funnel product looks like. So like I go to, I want to show you the funnel one that I've already finished. So I go home, open, and so you see here that I have my themes for the second research question. This time I brought a theme here. You can bring it at the beginning or the end, right? This one I brought it to the end. And we can also see the themes for the second research question too, right? So you done your analysis. You see how easy the process is? And then the next stage is visualization. How do you visualize? There are many ways of visualizing. One of the ways is to look at the kinds of words that they use and how many times in relation to a specific theme. Let's say we are looking at this theme, having high workload. And there are 7 segments. You can bring the segment here and then create a word cloud. How do you do that? You go to You see here, you activate all the document by clicking on this one to select all the document or activate all the document. You see that 5 documents have been selected. Then you only activate the theme that you are interested in. I click on this having high workload and all the 7 quotation comes here, right? Then what you're gonna do is click on word cloud and then you'll be able to get a word cloud. And as I said, you can always go and reformat it the way that you want, right? If you are okay with what you have, you can export it or send it to a spreadsheet where you can use that information later. So think about this QTT worksheet is like a document that you are now extracting all the information that you want to use for your report and putting them in one place. And after that, you can export it from MAXQDA.